Chats. I'm Joyce Dooley. I'm very excited about who's joining us today with Enrique Pavlioglou. He is the CEO and founder of Checkups. When we talk about the judicial system, it's incredibly complicated and hard to navigate. Many counties across the U.S. struggle with managing massive amounts of probation caseloads. And for those on probation, it can be difficult to meet consistently with case managers, especially during the pandemic. So social innovation and technology startups like Checkups can help bridge gaps within the system, make operations more efficient, and ultimately clear up headaches on both sides of the table. So with that, Enrique, I would really love it if you could just sort of explain like what makes you so passionate about startups and the social innovation.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Joyce, for hosting me and having me. It's always great to talk to you. And I think just, startups in general have to disrupt, right? They have to do something that has not been done before, or maybe they're trying to do something that has been done before, but in a different way. And it has to be, especially I feel in our day and age, it has to be something that helps every side of the coin that you're going to try to flip, right? Mine is pretty much essentially, the people that are supervised and the supervisees, but we're trying to make it better for both parts of the equation. Of course, Checkups was designed in just keeping that transparent, and we understand that there's always an inherent friction. We don't have it's like some of my customer service people will say, we don't expect to have a 5-star rating on our app, because nobody really likes to download our app, but we want to make everything simple for everybody. And I think that's pretty much kind of the story. I know, and that's why I'm passionate about startups. I think it has to, you have to try to change somebody's life, right? You have to try to make it easier on everybody. Life's hard enough. Don't add more things to it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So tell us more about Checkups and how exactly it works.
So Checkups is a San Antonio-based startup. I grew up here, born here, raised here. So I really like the area. I just love San Antonio. And the way it works is just allowing kind of an application and a software to interact with each other. And that way the communication can always be kept together, because life does happen. And sometimes, you'll pop a tire on the way to court, or you need a little bit extra time to check in, and all those things are now available because everything is in real time. You can check in with your officer, and now you don't have to go somewhere or go sit in an office for your officer to know that you're doing everything correctly. You can now check in because you're at work, and now you can have proof of letting everybody know, hey, you know what, I did something that was bad. I feel sorry about it, but here, let me show you how I'm actually doing better, and I'm actually progressing on this, and actually giving back to society again. We also Checkups also reduces the overall cost of just general check-ins and community supervision in general. Having people at a lobby, having people wait at a certain place, or all doing this, just even for driving downtown to the jail to see your officers, all these things have a cost. If it's time, if it's money, if it's whatever you lost during that time, everything has a cost. So we're freeing up all that valuable time, and of course money. We're saving money across the board, because all these things are pretty expensive, and we're trying to make it as affordable as possible for everybody across the board. I think that's.
Yeah, and there's a really cool feature, right? So like part of the check-in process for Checkups is that people who are out on probation can take photos of themselves to check in, right? So that there's verification and identification between case managers, right?
Correct. So sorry about that. Yeah, essentially what they'll do is they'll take a quick selfie. That selfie will, of course, send their GPS location, things like that. And it works, so your officer knows that, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're going to work, you are, staying home when you're supposed to, you're not, leaving the county, things like that, that will really help everybody across the board. And especially if, if you're really trying to do what you're supposed to be doing, it really helps you out.
Yeah, and one of the other things about it that I know is that the case managers have the ability to reject the photos that are submitted. So, for identification purposes, it's really strong because the case managers can deny the picture if it's like blurry and things like that.
Exactly. They can deny the pictures and even tell them things when they deny the pictures, like, hey, take off your glasses, take off your hat, or anything that they really want. And it just makes it easier for everybody across the board. It used to be, you sit down and you have to wait for somebody, to speak to them for 10, 15 minutes. And then they wait in the lobby. But now you take a selfie in less than 5 seconds, and we all take selfies all the time. So that comes pretty great for everybody. And for the officers, just looking at a picture saying, okay, he's good to go, and they can continue on through their day, kind of really trying to, I think the best way to explain it as well is, and what we've been seeing is, what really starts to happen is you have your big bulk, right, of individuals. And now you can actually see who needs a little extra help, who needs their handheld, who needs a little bit of, a little extra touch. It's not for everybody, but I think it really helps out especially the individuals that need a little bit more. They can really now see, okay, so maybe this individual, that he might need to come into the office. He might need, something extra, but at least, they have this available.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And it is a pretty complicated space that you got into, complicated industry. What sorts of challenges do counties face when managing caseloads, and why is a system like Checkups so important?
So as you can imagine, first of all, the pandemic has made everything hard, like just in general. If it used to be, just meeting with somebody and talking to them, well, how do you meet with, 400 different people on your caseload? And these caseloads are sometimes huge, and they just, seem just to keep on getting bigger. So it's just gotten way too difficult. The officer can't really know all these things. And what we're trying to do is, compress all this information into one space where they can see it, they can, act upon it, but based on the data, based on, okay, is he doing what is he supposed to be doing? Is he checking in on time correctly, etc. I don't know. I love always talking about Bell County. They've really embraced it, and they're able to cut down their office time. So and now individuals can really work from home because they just have access to the system, and they just go do everything that they can do. And since now you don't need to even call the individuals, you can just message with them through the app. It becomes really, really easy for everybody across the board.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be. So, and the individuals in the system, who are often reincarcerated because they're unable to afford the legal fees, reporting mandates and more. How does Checkups help them with this?
So we cost around, it's 19.95 a month. But say for instance, if you had an ankle monitor and you had, maybe a low offense, well, ankle monitors cost around maybe $1,000 to put them on, and then about $300 every month. So you can imagine during the lifespan of this, it becomes increasingly been extremely expensive. And on top of all, put, gas, parking, anything that you really have to pay for. Well, we take away all those costs by allowing you to check in with your officer through a device that you already have, which is your smartphone. I think it's like 90% of, adults in the US have a smartphone, and we're able to work on the whole spectrum of phones that, it doesn't have to be the brand new iPhone or brand new Samsung. You can really just check in from wherever you are. There are supervision fees, attached to this. We don't really hit those, thankfully, but it costs a lot less than any of the alternatives around. And it gives you more than, if you just have an ankle monitor, well, you really can't really chat with your officer through that. But here it gives you more tools for you. I mean, you can talk to us, customer service, if you're having a problem with the app. You can talk to your officer directly. It even gives you, like, if you want, you can have a report of, every check-in that you've done. So maybe next time you show up to court and be like, okay, hey, judge, I did everything on time. I was perfect. I contributed. I showed up to work. And then you can leverage that as well. It really helps out.
Yeah, so like three words that I could describe, this is that it's accessible, it's affordable, and it's accountable, right? Which is
Correct.
really fantastic for everybody involved, because I think in one of our previous conversation, we had kind of talked about how on average counties spend, $1 million to a couple $1 million managing caseloads with this, but you've kind of found a way to remove the barriers and to help drop the costs and associated fees of managing these people who are out on probation. Um, what would you say is the biggest hurdle in getting people onboarded onto the system?
I think that would be just kind of, there's probation has been around for forever. So that there are a lot of, legacy systems. There are a lot of systems that have worked the same way for a lot of years. And, maybe some people that are just skeptical to new technology. But there's also sometimes I'll hear, well, why are you doing this? And I guess, well, that answer would be I always wanted to be a doctor. I didn't get the grades, but this was a great way to help people. So I at least got that sense out of it, and that's what we're really trying to do as a company, just help as many individuals as we can. But I think that biggest hurdle is always just changing that thought of, okay, but but we did it this way and it worked, and why would we do it a different way? It's sometimes just getting them used to it, and then from there they start to see the benefits, because the data is what really drives it. It's going to really show you in the back end, and we have counties being okay, like, we've been using this for a year, but now let's try 3 check-ins, now let's try 2, and it really gives you a sense of exactly where you are with the individuals and how you can help them better as well. As a county, it's very important, and I see that with them. How do we help our individuals better? And here they actually have a way of seeing how adding things, taking away things, maybe testing other thoughts, and how it really helps them. But as far as the biggest hurdle, I think it would be just that, just getting them used to a new technology, and I guess across the board, not just the officers, but the individuals can sometimes say, well, I always just went to the office, and sometimes they don't see the benefit of just checking in from wherever you are. But those things are things we work with, and you see that across a lot of sectors. But hopefully we'll be able to get through those.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will. And you've had a lot of success already. It's only been a couple of years since you got the ball rolling on this company. What counties are you currently involved with?
So we have quite a bit, but I think our biggest one right now is Bexar County. Nueces County is also a big one that we have, and I always like to talk about my oldest client, which is Bell. They pretty much use the system very well, actually. I always love to team up with them and see how we can fix new things, and just we take the feedback from every single one of these counties, and that's how the system has been getting better. And not just from the counties, but from the individuals as well. We listen to the individuals and say, hey, they're like, well, I need, like the manual check-ins was exactly because somebody's tire popped, and they're like, what do I do? How do I contact my officer? How do I send them a picture? And like, well, let's add that feature for you guys. And we were able to add, and now they can, okay, let me send a picture. And, this is what happened. But I think those would be, we have Bell, Colleen, Temple, it's Medina, quite a bit. And we're just excited to grow, and happy that we can help, individuals across, the state of Texas, and actually moving into a couple of other states, which I'm pretty excited about as well.
Yeah, so what I think that is really cool about this is, it's a really cool technology like application system, right? And a communication tool, but really there's such a great social impact to what you're working on, not just for the individual users, but also for our counties out there that are inundated with, budget restraints and understaffing and massive caseloads. And it just creates blockages in a system that is already like not serving our lower income and minority groups as well as it could. And this seems like a really nice lift for everybody involved, which I think, having a win-win is a great thing to do. And we appreciate your time today. So how can people learn more about Checkups, and how can they connect with you?
Well, they can always reach me, on LinkedIn. I think, Enrique Pavlioglou, or they can send us an email, info@checkups.us, or just go to our webpage, checkups.us, and just send us, and even if you have just ideas that you want to send us and say, hey, you should try this, try that. We actually love the feedback and just love trying to, just solve problems. I feel that's what I was, put here to do, just kind of solve problems. So I always enjoy that.
Well, thank you so much, Enrique. We really enjoyed having you today. Everybody else, stay tuned for our upcoming City Chats with Enrique. And following that, we're going to be talking with Mike Grigsby from Sioux Falls about digital transformation. And with that, everybody have a great day.
Thank you.